All right, everybody, so welcome back to another episode of Colton Posey Fishing. So today we're going to be talking about my top 3 finesse baits for August. These are the baits that I'm typically going to run in the month of August for different reasons, and I'm going to go over why, my setups, and everything else. So stay tuned. This is something you don't want to miss. All right, guys, so the first bait we're going to talk about, this is one of my favorites to run this time of year, and that's a Nico rig, okay? So a Nico rig, you can run it with a finesse worm, but I typically run it with a dinger. And what I do is I put an O-ring in the middle of the bait, and then I use a Mustad KBD extra wide gap hook. Just for me personally, it's comfortable, and it seems like I get a lot better hookup ratio with that extra wide gap hook. Octopus hook does really good also, but I'm typically going to be throwing real natural colors this time of year. Your June bugs, your green pumpkin. This one right here specifically is called a Bama bug. It's green pumpkin on one side, June bug on the other. And after I put that O-ring on it and I hook that bait right down the middle, I take and drop a nail weight in there. It's 5/16 ounce nail weight. Adjust your weights accordingly. So, you know, maybe if they're following it but they're not biting it and stuff, you know, go up in size where it falls a little quicker. If the same thing's happening, go down and see, you know, if anything's happening. So that's one of the biggest things I found with baits. It's really targeting the size, weight. So, you know, do they want a quicker fall? Do they want a slower fall? You know, what exactly is going on? So, you know, that's the reason I keep just a couple of different sizes of weights and stuff, and I kind of adjust accordingly. But, you know, it's different in every scenario. But either way, I'm running 8-pound fluorocarbon to a braided line. The braided line's 10 pounds. But either way, throughout this entire, you know, I don't know what you call it, throughout this entire video, all the setups are going to be the same. You know, it's going to go from 10-pound braid to 8-pound fluoro. That's what I run on all my spinning setups. But either way, with this setup right here, I'm running that Lose Laser SG1, the 7-foot medium heavy action. I like the medium heavy. You do have to run your drag a little lighter. That way you're not breaking your line on the hook setups. But you know, this is a great technique to use when those fish are shallow or either deep on points. So, you know, with that bigger weight or nail weight in the head of this dinger right here, you can get it down on those points really quickly and finesse those fish into biting. This is a very subtle action, but it has a lot of action on the fall, and every time you twitch this bait, it's going to move, and it just drives the fish crazy. But this is a great technique to target those fish who have been targeted pretty much all summer. Give it a shot. All right, so another bait that I really like to use, this is a Strike King Rage Swimmer. This is the 2.75-inch Rage Swimmer, and I've got it on a 3/8 ounce ball head. Now, I'm typically going to throw that ball head when, you know, if sometimes I just feel like the swim bait heads, like the Smalley Smasher and stuff like that, if they're not biting that, it seems like they see the eyes and there's something off about the eyes. I could be completely wrong. It could just be the presentation. But I notice a lot of times if I can't get on by the Smalley Smasher, I'll just put a regular, you know, round jig head on this. It's 4x4 little jig head, and a lot of times they'll just start biting it. So I don't know if it has something to do with a swim bait head from times, and then sometimes they won't bite the ball head and I swap over to the all-terrain and they'll bite it. So, but that's the only difference I can think, because I'm not swapping up colors. You know, the weight is the exact same in both heads. The action's pretty much exactly the same. I don't really see any difference in the action, but you know, those are a few like swim bait heads that you can keep in your boat to swap up between, just in case one isn't working and the other one may be. But either way, I'm running a 7-foot medium moderate action rod, and then I'm running that Lose. This is a 6:2 to 1 gear ratio spinning reel. I do like the higher speed spinning reels. Anytime I'm using spinning setups, I do not like super slow, because, you know, I mean, your drag's going to be turned down anyways. As long as it's got a good anti-reverse, you know, you're good. But use whatever you can afford. But this is my setup for the swim bait specifically. Now, this bait, this is a technique that I kind of just put on a whim. It's a dart head. This is a small dart head. I think this one's a 5/16 ounce, and I take a Zoom Tiny Fluke, and sometimes I'll put the Z-Man on there. All the baits and stuff will be linked down in the description, by the way. But this is a great technique for, you know, forward facing sonar. And even if you're not doing forward facing sonar, I notice a lot of times when the fish that are schooling come up and maybe they're not committing to my top water bait, maybe they're not acting on it or anything like that, a lot of times I can throw this bait down in the middle of them and just kind of burn it across the top of the water and they smoke it. But I stick to my natural colors, green pumpkin, I've got watermelon seed, and then I also have smoking shad, so that gives me kind of like all three bases covered. But once again, you know, you can tight line it, you can throw it out there, keep that line tight and let it kind of drift down, or, you know, you can burn it. One of the ways I was catching them on Smith Lake with it, I would throw it out there and then I would tight line it, and then I would make a couple quick reels, kind of like you're working a hair jig, and then I'd let it fall, make a couple quick reels, let it fall, same thing over and over again, and they absolutely loved it. We caught some big ones doing that on this super small bait. But my setup here, this is a 6'10", light extra fast action rod. So I mean, this is a super light rod. It's got tons of bend in it, running the same line and stuff like that. My drag's actually a lot tighter on this one, simply because I have a lot of give in the rod, so I can allow my drag to be you know, tighter to help that hook penetrate the fish. But either way, these are my top three baits. If you're fishing in the month of August all the way up into September and stuff, these baits right here is going to help you out a ton, whether you're fishing points, whether you're fishing bridges, grass, it doesn't really matter. You know, all these baits can kind of get you covered from, you know, shallow all the way to deep. Forward facing sonar, no forward facing sonar, it doesn't really matter. But either way, guys, I really appreciate you stopping in. Don't forget, if the video helped you at all, make sure to like, subscribe for more content. I got you covered when it comes to anything bass fishing. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. I'd be glad to help to the best of my ability. If I can't, maybe I can point you in the right direction. Also, we got members only $2 a month. You get my content up to a week early. You can ask your questions early. I appreciate it, guys, and I'll see you next time.